Hi everyone, welcome back to Blooming Diaries, journal entry number 5. Today I get to see me up and dressed and out and about. Just got off from work, drove to the store. Before I go into the store, I decided that I wanted to do this video really quick because once I get home I got stuff to do and I'm gonna get tired and the video's not gonna get done. And then y'all gonna see me doing my next video laying in the bed, looking a hot mess. So I said I'm going to do this video right now. So update, I am now 30 weeks pregnant. My last doctor's appointment was this past Monday. Remember in the last Blooming Diaries video, I expressed that the doctor I was supposed to see, I canceled that appointment so that I would not have her, and I called them, rescheduled my appointment, told them I did not want her. So I did not see her for this appointment, which I'm happy about. However, the doctor that I did see was another attending doctor when I was in the hospital, when I was in the emergency room, that I wasn't too fond of her energy either. So now I'm glad that I have both of these doctors, because these were the only two doctors I didn't particularly care for their energy too much. And it was never nothing overt with either of the doctors. It was just little subtle things, but it was repetitiously, and it was just the energy, and I could tell that they had an agenda, or they had some types of prejudices and all that kind of stuff. And so it's okay. I'm glad that I saw this doctor this time, for the simple fact that now I know to make sure when I schedule the remainder of my appointments not to have neither one of these doctors. And I know that when I do get ready to have the baby and I'm in the hospital, if either one of them are there, if there's more than one attending doctor, because I'm not sure if there will be, then I will request for them to not be the doctor that sees me. But if they're the only attending doctor for the time I'm there, I will most definitely put my doula on point, so that we can make sure they're not trying to forcefully push their agendas on me in any kind of way. So yeah, so that was that. So I had my doctor's appointment. I'm seeing the doctor now just roughly every 2 to 3 weeks, since I'm in the 3rd trimester. And I had the appointment Monday. It was a brief appointment, nothing in depth. Listened to the baby's heartbeat. The heartbeat was good. It was in the 140s. They asked me if I wanted to do the TDAP or DTAP, depending upon I don't remember which one is for the adult, but essentially it's the same thing, probably different dosages. And I declined that. And what else? They asked me about my blood pressure, how that's been, and I pretty much let them know that I had been slacking on taking my blood pressure, but it pretty much has been in good range. And did they ask me any other questions? I don't think they asked me any other questions. My blood pressure was great when I was there. It just always seems to, with my last couple of appointments, like with this past doctor and the doctor previously, whom I said I didn't care for either, the vibe is just kind of like when they see me and my blood pressure is pretty good, and just thinking or looking back at my results when I was in the emergency room, aside from my blood pressure being high, the results were pretty good. All the tests that I've been taking since I have come home from the hospital, the results are pretty good. They just have this energy of being perplexed. Like they really want something to be wrong, and I know that's what they are trained to do. They're trained to look for the wrong. They're trained to see the wrongs and all that kind of stuff. And they're always just on high alert for the wrong. or for something happening, or things of that nature. And some of them may be that they just kind of like want things to be that way for whatever reason. But anyway, yeah, they just have this energy. It's just this energy of being perplexed when they see me, and my results are pretty good and all that kind of stuff. So far, everything that they have been checking me for has been good. The only thing that has not been the best has been my red blood cell count and my platelet count, which with my 2 previous pregnancies, I struggled with those. But with this pregnancy, it has been the worst as far as my red blood cell count and platelet count. I noticed from looking at the numbers, but also based off of how I had been feeling throughout this pregnancy. Like I said, I'm just now getting to a point where I am doing much better as far as feeling better with my energy, just with feeling like I am getting so much more oxygen. I was going through a period of time where I was feeling like my chest was tight and feeling just like I just wasn't getting enough oxygen in my system and all that kind of stuff. I made some changes and I've been feeling much better, and I'm going to go into detail on different things that I did to make improvements later on. It might be before I had the baby or after, I don't know yet. But anyway, I made some changes, and so slowly but surely I'm progressing and I'm getting better. I asked them to check my vitamin D levels because I've had my vitamin D be low. Let me see. So with my 5th pregnancy, the midwife I had, she suggested that I get my vitamin D level checked because I've had so many children that I have nursed and they have taken from me. So her knowing that I had a very strict diet, vegan diet, and I'm nursing all these children, and I wasn't cognizant of, maybe it's possible that I'm low in certain nutrients or whatever from this. So I listened to her and I had my vitamin D level checked, and sure enough, it was low. So ever since then, I've been having my vitamin D level checked periodically, and my vitamin D level has been pretty low, and the doctors put me on taking vitamin D supplements and everything like that. And so I've been taking the vitamin D supplements with this pregnancy as well. So I take it weekly. It's like 5,000 IUs. I believe it's 5,000 IUs. I will double check. And supposed to take it weekly. Not all the time am I taking it. But I started making sure I was incorporating certain foods within my diet that were high in vitamin D as well. And so anyway, I had my vitamin D level checked. It's within normal range, but it's still on the lower side, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna start back to making sure I'm taking the vitamin D supplement in addition to the foods that I'm eating. And no, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, and I also asked them to check my vitamin K. I haven't seen results for that yet. I'm wondering if, no, I'm thinking that it would show that. I don't know, I have to talk to the doctor, because they did a complete metabolic panel test where they check different vitamins and minerals to see if you're deficient or sufficient in them. And they checked my vitamin D. They checked me to see if I was showing any signs of preeclampsia, because of course they want to monitor me for that, just because of me being supposedly high risk and all that kind of stuff, and older in age and stuff like that, and because of the scare of me being in the hospital with my blood pressure being high, and that being one of the symptoms of preeclampsia. So they checked me for that again this go around, and I think that was pretty much it. Everything was good. All my labs was good except for my platelet and red blood cells. To them, my red blood cells are good, but to me, I feel like it's not, because it's still pretty low. And of course, when you are pregnant, your red blood cell count drops. But even in between my pregnancies, for the last 3 pregnancies, my red blood cell has not been the best. I mean, it hasn't been extremely bad, but it hasn't been the best. I did have one episode where my red blood, like, I was considered a little anemic, yeah, so I've been having some challenges with that. My platelet count, they said that my platelet count has come up. It's not where they want it to be, but it has come up. It was at 118, and now it's at 125. So I'm grateful for that. It is coming back up because, you know, your platelets deal with your blood clotting, which is very important in childbirth, because in childbirth, you know, you're bleeding, and you want once you have your baby, you want your blood to be able to clot properly so that you do not hemorrhage. So I'm very happy about that. They said that they like to see 150 or anything over 150. So my goal by the end of this pregnancy is to get my platelets up to 150 or close to it. So yeah, so everything has been pretty good. So that was Monday's appointment. Then they scheduled me for my next appointment, which would be like about 2 weeks. I went and canceled that because they scheduled me with the same doctor I had previously that I did not want to see. So I canceled that. So now I got to call them back and ask them, tell them I need to schedule my prenatal, and then tell them do not schedule me with neither one of those 2 doctors. So that's the plan for the next visit. So in a nutshell, that is how my appointment went for my last doctor's appointment. And so, as promised, I also wanted to kind of share with you all some different things that I've noticed about being pregnant in my 40s. I'm 42. That just didn't really bother me when I was pregnant in my 20s and 30s, because it definitely has been a change. I think some of the challenges I do attribute to my deficiency in certain nutrients, and I'll talk about that in a later video. But yeah, it definitely is a difference when you start getting older. And the reason why I say that is because I'm experiencing it now, but then I've had other mothers, I've listened to other mothers tell their story of being pregnant in their 40s and the differences they have experienced. So in that, I know that it definitely is a difference, and it's not just solely me or solely being lacking in certain nutrients. And so some of those differences, and I hope I remember because I did not write it down. I had 5 that I typed up, but it's on my phone, and I'm using my phone to record this video right now, so I don't have it in front of me. But some five differences that I've noticed. For one, greater exhaustion. I've been more tired this time being pregnant. You're tired anyway when you're pregnant, whether you're in your 20s or 30s, but being pregnant now, I find that I am more exhausted and I definitely need more rest. Something that I have to factor in is that I am working with this pregnancy, whereas I've only had one other pregnancy that I've worked, which was my youngest, my second son. I worked with him, but at the same time, even though I worked with him, like, my mom was still around. Like, my mom has passed in 2018, so I don't have her support. And so with my older 3 children, I had a great deal of support from her, and I don't have that now. And so I don't know if that may have had something to do with it, but like I said, I was younger. But anyway, this time around, I am very, very tired and definitely need to rest. And it's challenging because I work I have children that I have to tend to. 3 of my children are adults, and even though they're adults, I don't care what anyone says, your adult children, you still have to tend to them. Maybe not as much or in the same capacity as with your younger children, but you still have to tend to them. So I have to attend to my children. Excuse me. My youngest 2, they are currently in a space where they want to be at home with me more, spend more time with me, as opposed to going and spending time with their father. And I will get further into details with that in another video. But so that in and of itself is time consuming, because where I would normally have a break on the weekends, I don't have those breaks anymore because my youngest 2 are mostly with me. And then in the beginning of my pregnancy, I was in school part-time, taking 6 credit hours, and I was on campus, so there was energy there. I was dividing my energy up in so many places, whereas now I'm in school still part-time, but I'm only doing 1 class, and it's just an online class, which is definitely much easier on me because I don't have to go anywhere. So yeah, just kind of dealing with all of that, dealing with different challenges that my children are going through, and I'm working on supporting them through those challenges. Also dealing with the challenge of my children's father taking me to court, and like I said, I'm gonna get into that later, but that's not for this video. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that are taking my energy, and that could be contributing to my exhaustion. But I have been so exhausted this pregnancy, so that is one thing that I noticed that's different. Another thing I noticed that's different is, and it could be just the pregnancy, but with all of my children that I've had thus far, I've not really experienced much nausea. I might have had like with my second son, I threw up a couple of times with him. With my second daughter, I threw up a couple times with her, and that was it. My other son and my other 2 daughters did not throw up at all, did not get nauseous. With this pregnancy, I have gotten nauseous so much. I've thrown up a couple of times with this pregnancy, but it's mainly just been me feeling nauseous so much, especially in the beginning. Once I got kind of like into my second trimester, things got better, and so I noticed that was different. Something else that has been different, like I was explaining earlier, my red blood cell count and platelet count just very, very low. And I'm not just saying this that I know this because of what I've read on papers, but even my experience, like how I was feeling, even my protein, because I feel like all 3 of those go hand in hand. I could tell, like just me studying myself over the years, I kind of can tell when something is off and kind of what it is. I might not always know exactly how to pinpoint it, but I have an idea. And then the more I do study on it, and maybe I do tests at the doctors, I kind of like can come up with a conclusion. But yeah, with this pregnancy, I just feel like the baby is taking more out of me. But it could also be that I was already kind of low in certain nutrients, and the baby is just kind of like zapping me of what I had left, and it's like leaving me with nothing. It could be that. And the reason why I say it could be that is because I know that I was very strict in my diet prior to this pregnancy, being a strict vegan. And then on top of that, due to just everything that's going on with the economy and inflation, and just the cost of living going up, me trying to make sure that my 2 youngest have the diet that they have been introduced to since birth. I would make sure they were good, and sometimes I wasn't eating the best. And I know that, well, I didn't know it then, but I'm thinking on it now, and I'm reflecting on it now, and I'm thinking that could have been depleting me. And then once I got pregnant, whatever I had in me, the baby was taken from me. And so, but all I know is that with this pregnancy, I had been struggling with feeling like I've been getting enough protein, struggling with platelets, red blood cell count, and all that kind of stuff. I've noticed in my 2 youngest daughters, when I was pregnant with them, my red blood cell count and platelet count was low, and but it was not low where it is now, like how I'm dealing with now, but it was low. My midwife recommended that I take blood builders, started taking that, was building it back up. But even though in taking that, it's kind of like I'm concluding that that's really not addressing what is the root cause of the platelet count and red blood cell count being low. It's just kind of like helping you to kind of build it up. And so I think now with this pregnancy, I'm really feeling that. I have been taking blood builders a little bit, but it just when I take it, I still don't feel the best. And I started eating beets. When I actually eat the beets, I feel a little better, and I know that eating the foods, you know, as opposed to supplements, not saying don't take supplements, but actually if you can get your nutrients from food, it's definitely much better for your body, because your body can absorb it much better. But when I eat the beets, even though I don't like beets, but I told myself I would eat it because it's crucial that I eat it. You know, I'm developing a child within me. I feel better with eating the beets. But even in that, even though I feel better, it just wasn't enough. And so I started making sure that I've been consuming high doses of protein, eating more foods that have vitamin K2, not just vitamin K1, which vitamin K1 is found in plant-based sources mainly. Vitamin K2 is found in animal sources and animal byproduct sources, but they're also found in fermented foods, things of that nature. And so I was doing a little research, and I learned that vitamin K1 is good, but it's good to have both vitamin K1 and vitamin K2, because vitamin K2, you know, is dealing with like building up your blood and your bone marrow and all that kind of stuff. And so making sure I'm incorporating all of that. And like I said, when I got my results from the test I took this past doctor's appointment, they said my platelet count is going up, and so I'm happy about that. I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing. And another thing that I noticed that is different is I've been dealing with insomnia really bad this time around. Now that I'm reflecting on it, I think with my second daughter, I definitely had some insomnia. I remember that. I don't know if it's been this bad as I'm feeling it now, but I do remember being up in the middle of the night when I was pregnant with her, when I was in my second trimester, for some time in the middle of the night, and then kind of going back to sleep. But the difference then is that I was not working like I am now, so it's like once I finally was able to go back to sleep, I could stay asleep and I could get up kind of like when I needed to, when I wanted to, because I wasn't at work. Whereas now with me working, if I have insomnia and I have work the next day, when I finally go back to sleep, it's like I'm waking up, but I'm not fully rested, and I have to get up and I have to go to work. You know, I can't just stay home. So yeah, so let's see how that's the insomnia, the protein, the exhaustion, the nausea, insomnia, protein, exhaustion, nausea. What was the other one? I know I had another one on my paper. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, when I finish this video, when I get ready to post this video, I'll link it in I'll link it down below so that you can see what it was. But like I said, it's definitely a difference. I definitely noticed a difference in being pregnant in my 40s than how I felt when I was in my 20s and 30s. But it's not to make anyone stray away from conceiving in their 40s or feeling like it's all doom and gloom, because there's definitely been some great experiences being pregnant, and definitely is possible and doable, especially if you have a support team, like if you have like family around you and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't have family here where I am in Maryland. Yeah, I'm not around my family because I moved away from my family when I got with my youngest 2 children's father, and we married. But yeah, since we divorced, I'm still here in Maryland, and it can be more challenging. I have a couple of people that I consider friends. I have acquaintances, but it's nothing like having family to support you and help you. And so, you know, that can make things more challenging. But if you have, I mean, you can do it, period, whether you have family with you or not. But if you have family with you, you surrounding you, and you have support, you have help, that's definitely a plus. So yeah, those have been my differences that I've experienced and I've noticed being pregnant in my 40s versus the 20s and 30s. If you are pregnant right now and you are in your 40s, definitely comment below and let me know what some of your differences have been, some differences you noticed being pregnant in your 40s versus your 20s and 30s. And yeah, until next time, that's all I have for you all. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Don't forget to comment below, and I will see y'all in the next Blooming Diaries. Peace.